Who would have thought 2 years later I'll be sitting down here talking about distance relationship? Welcome to my vocal journal. I'm glad that you are here. If this is your first time of listening, welcome, and I hope that this podcast edifies and makes you better. And if you're a returning listener, I'm so glad that you're here once again. Okay, so today we'll be talking about distance relationship. And I think I have the right to talk about this because I think I need like a round of applause. I've been in a distance relationship for 2 whole years. It's not an easy feat at all. You won't understand. Probably those already in a distance relationship might understand what this means, but trust me, being in a distance relationship, it's not easy at all. And today I'm going to be talking about distance relationship in general and my own experience and how I've been able to navigate through this for 2 years successfully. I think it has to be successful. Okay, so today makes it 2 years from my partner's perspective, and a year and 11 months 30 days. Don't mind me. Also 2 years, but with 1 day difference from my own perspective. Over the years, I've learned so much about distance relationship. In fact, it was not easy at first. Will I say it was easy at first? I think it was kind of easy at first because we were in quotes, our honeymoon mood. So everybody was on their best behavior. It's not like we are still not on our best behavior, but then everybody was on their best behavior. So I think the first few months were not quite bad because we're getting to know ourselves. And my relationship started. It's transitioned from friendship to relationship. So I'm not going to give details on how we met because I'm keeping that for a special edition, and I'm going to invite my partner to do that with me. So I'm not going to go through all the whole process of how we met and all of that because it's kind of special. It's so romantic. I think. But then I've been in this relationship for a while, and it's not a conventional distance relationship where you meet first somebody and then along the line maybe education or work or family separated you guys and you had no choice but to be in a distance relationship. That was not my case. My case started from distance from the beginning. It was distance relationship from the beginning, and then to God be the glory, we met after 1 year and few months later. That's when we met. You can imagine, just imagine yourself in that scenario, in that situation where you're dating somebody that you have never met absolutely, and you were committed in a relationship. You eventually saw the person 1 year later. So with all of this background story, you would agree with me when I say that I have the right to talk about this because I have experience from all angles. And even after we eventually met, it was another ball game because now you finally seen this person. There's this part of you that wants to continuously meet this person, but situation didn't allow it. So yeah, let's dive into it. So I'm going to talk about the lessons learned, and I have few points here. I'm going to start with number 1 that says it is hard, therefore you have to put in work. There is this concept I have, or this concept I got to know over the years being in a distance relationship, and I think that to have a successful relationship, this is a very important factor, that the both of you would want to be with each other. What I mean is, because the relationship is between 2 persons, obviously, Just imagine I, the girl, wants to be with this guy, and I'm putting in the effort, making everything right to be with this guy, and this guy on the other end doesn't want to be with me as much as I want to be with him. There is an imbalance. So now the other person is drained and the other person is just there. Along the line, it's not going to work, because you don't want this other person don't want to be with you as much as you want to be with this person. I feel like during time distance relationship, especially, and this can also be applied to all that forms of relationship, friendships, family, and every other thing, but I'm speaking specifically on distance relationship. So for it to work, the both parties would want to be with each other and put in deliberate and intentional efforts to make it work. Without that, trust me, it's not going to work. It's going to be a struggle, because distance is not joke. Hey, if you're thinking of going to a distance relationship, the number one thing that should be ringing in your head that it is no joke. So both you and your partner should be ready to put in the work. That simply means, if you will eventually be in a distance relationship, please be careful enough to choose a partner that wants to do this relationship thing with you as much as you want to do it with them. Because if that's not the case, I don't think every other point I have here will work. I don't think it's going to work, because it's just going to be an imbalance. Just imagine, just think about it, because you be the one putting in the effort, the other person might like you, no doubt, but maybe not as much, and they are not even willing to put in the work, because only when you want this person as much as they want you, that's when you put in the work. I think I've stayed on that for too long. I have other points. And the second one, you have to be committed to each other. Committed to each other is not just about telling this person, I'm committed to you, I'm committed to you. We understand that it's a distance relationship, and then there will be distractions. There will definitely be distractions. And it's only when you're committed to this person that you'll be able to overcome these distractions. Because aside from, I'm not even talking about cheating right now, I'm talking about having to keep companies with okay, let's just say sneaky companies with the opposite sex or something. Maybe you're not even doing that, but this distraction will come. For example, you've been in a distance relationship for a very long time, and there are things you long to do with your partner, like going for a walk, going to the beach, going to the cinema, going on dates, and your partner is far from you. You can't do such things. You'll see people that are willing to do these things with you. You'll see people that will go the extra mile to want to do these things with you. And if you keep giving attention to these people, trust me, you will start wavering. Like, your heart will start wavering. Because just imagine, there's this particular person in your life that isn't your partner, that comes, take you out, buy you things, go on walk with you. He's somebody you can talk to every now and then. It might start as an innocent friendship and all of that, but along the line you will start missing those things you get from him, from your partner. Like, you start wishing that your partner was there. You start wishing that this person is your partner, or your partner is doing this thing that this person is doing. That's a distraction. You might eventually come to your senses and walk away from such situationship. But if you don't come to your senses earlier on, you might make mistake. And in fact, these things will definitely affect the relationship, because there will be a gap. Distance relationship requires lots of communication, lots of commitment, but when that is divided between both your partner and another person, it's going to be a huge challenge. So if you want, or if you're in a distance relationship, you should be committed. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have friendship of the opposite sex, or you shouldn't go out with friends. You can do that, but please be careful. be careful, and let it not be that just this particular person you're always going out. It's going to be suspicious. In fact, if your partner gets to know that there's just this one person you're always going out with, even if he knows the person, even if she knows the person, it's going to be trouble. They'll start feeling insecure. They'll start feeling like maybe this other person is going to take their place in your life. So let's be careful. Wow, it's already 10 minutes. I'm trying to not make this thing very long. Then the third one is trust. It is essential. I don't know how to emphasize this, but if you don't trust your partner, there is no point being in a distance relationship. This is something I struggled with in the first half of my relationship. I struggled with trust so much, and I'm not going to say that I wanted to say it's because my partner is actually a very free person that accommodates a lot of people, but I don't want to pin this on him alone. It's also something that was my fault. So I didn't trust him, and I had a lot of what if this person calling is this, what if this person calling is that. But then it took a lot of reassurance, a lot of communication, a lot of understanding for me to know that this is my partner. We are not together. Doesn't mean he would not have to talk to anybody or even have female friends. And then he gave me a certain level of assurance, and then I was cool. So even without that, even without the assurance, see, you have to trust this person for this relationship to work. If you don't trust the person, you will suffer, you will struggle, and it will eventually affect the relationship. So trust is essential. I'm going to rush through this podcast because I have a lot of points, but I don't want it to be very long so you won't get bored or tired of listening. But then if you want me to throw more light on this point, or if there's any question you want to ask, please you can feel free to ask. Sorry about that. Feel free to ask the question. I might talk about it in another episode, or I might just answer you straight away in the question and answer segments or box. So the next point I have is effective communication is important. I think I can't use these few minutes I have to talk about the importance of communication. But then let me just say something aside the regular communication. Communication is one thing, and understanding is another thing. I think they both go hand in hand, because I'm somebody that I noticed that communication does not always work if it is not communicated properly. Yes, that's the word, communicate properly. Because I'm someone that doesn't know how to talk before, but when I got into a relationship and everybody's preaching about communication, I wanted to put in a deliberate effort to communicate, and I was always communicating. But it didn't feel like I was communicating, because the more I communicate, the more there is this tension, there's this disagreement, misunderstanding. But then I was like, but people say communicate is going to help. But communication wasn't helping. Communication was making things worse. That is when I knew that it is way beyond communicating. It is way beyond talking, rather. It is communicating in an effective way. I think if you're in schools, they have effective communication method. So instead of just saying communicate with your partner, it should be communicate effectively. Because if you're not communicating effectively, whatever you're saying will lead to more and more argument. And talking about communication generally, let me talk about why I brought about communication. Because you are in a distance relationship, the food, the air, the source of life of that relationship is communication. So communicate as much as possible, as long as possible. So when I started dating my partner, we usually used to talk for hours. Like we can talk 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and we not even know that we've spoken for that long. We started from chatting, so we can chat throughout the whole day. And when we started dating, I was scared that it was going to reduce the whole chats and calls. But then it did not, because we got to realize that this whole relationship relies heavily on communication. So we have to talk as much as we can. We have to create time for ourselves and talk as much as you can. Because only when you talk to your partner, you know where your partner is at a particular time. You know what your partner is up to. You get to know more about this person. But if you don't communicate, that's where you start worrying. Where is he, or where is she, or what is he not doing? What is she not doing? But when you communicate properly, you would get a fair understanding of this person's schedule. You get to know who this person is in and out, because the more you talk in those 5 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour that you talk, you will not just be talking about I miss you, I did not miss you, I miss my papa, I did not miss my mama. I'm sorry about that. I miss this, I did not miss this, I love you, I don't love you. You'll be asking yourself questions and answering in-depth questions about yourself. So that's the importance of communication. So the importance of communication, you have to talk as much as you can, and even when you can't communicate that much, even when you can't talk so much, let the other person know. Don't just ghost your partner. Don't do that. It's not fair for them. It is not fair. Don't ghost. If you will not be available, let them know, please. I'm trying to tell you things that work for me. It might be different for every other person, but try it. And if it doesn't work, try something else. So the next point I have here is you have to be open and detailed as possible. This is part of the communication I talked about. Like, your partner should be able to tell who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing at a particular time. Or like, maybe you're going out, you tell your partner, oh, I'm going out. So where? With who? For what? For what? It's not like you're being inquisitive, or you're trying to be so curious, or you're trying to pick on things in his life. But it's going to be easier if you just say, oh, I'm going here for this purpose, even without this person saying. It gives room. Some people will not ask those questions. Some people are overthinkers. They might not even ask. They will start calculating in their head, okay, he's going here with who, why. So it's better that if you're having communication, please be detailed and open, because this is a distance relationship. So it's like only the picture you paint to your partner that they will go with. If you're not giving them as much information as they need, there's a gap, and that gap will be filled with either the wrong thoughts, or it's going to be filled with doubt, and you wouldn't want that. Those are things that kills relationship. So please, in your communication, in your conversation, in your talks, please try as much as possible to be open as much as you can. It's going to help you and your partner. It's going to build trust. It's going to build a certain form of rapport between the both of you. Even when someone asks about your partner, you can say, okay, he's here with this, or she's here with this and that. I think I keep talking about he because I'm a girl, but this principle can be applied to both gender. Like, anybody can apply this principle. Then another important thing is and there's a reason why this is last. It's not last because it is the least important. It is last because I wanted you to digest this whole point before coming to this, because it is the most important of all the points. And if you were a Christian, I wonder how you want to have a relationship without God. It does not even make sense. Except you are so big that you feel like you can do it by yourself, then by all means go ahead. Or if you know you're a Christian, your Heavenly Father should be the number one in your relationship. In fact, he should be there even before the relationship starts. He should be there when the relationship is starting. And he should be there throughout the whole process of the relationship. At any point in the relationship, do not neglect him. Maybe from the beginning you prayed, oh God, should I go into this relationship? And you said, okay, go into the relationship. You enter the relationship. And then you forget about God. Like you start doing your relationship on your own. God will not push himself into your relationship. He will not force himself. He's not that kind of God that imposes himself on us. So if you don't invite him, he will not come. So please, as much as possible, put God first. And I want to hammer on this. One another thing that helps in relationship, when God is in your relationship, it's going to be easier for you to pray together, study the Bible together. And prayer is like, you know how important communication is in a relationship, right? That's as much important, if not more, that prayer has. And more important, praying together. If you can pray for a relationship, you can put God in your relationship, but please try as much as possible to pray together. Please pray together. It's going to keep the both of you in check as regards your spiritual life. It's going to draw you people closer to God, and it's going to give you a sense of direction in how you're going to treat your partner, how you're going to love your partner, because you both know that you're Christians and you are God's favorite children. So the both of you needs to be treated in a very loving and good manner, just like how God loves the church. So loving your partner the way Christ wants you to love them is the absolute best. So by all means, please involve God in your relationship. It should be the first, it should be the overall, you should be the most important person in that relationship. God's presence in your relationship cannot be overemphasized. God should be the center of the relationship. And when things are becoming tough in your relationship, when it feels like you don't know what else to do, trust me, if God has been in that relationship, just go back to Him and tell Him, this is what I'm feeling. What should I do? How should I go about it? And God is going to help you. So I've talked so much about this. I think I'm not even talked so much, but I've summarized a lot on this distance relationship. And if I can do it, you can do it also. It's hard, but it's doable, especially with somebody that wants to do this thing with you. And I'm not, please, before I round up, please don't do distance relationship for a very long time. Hey, please, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, please, I'm not part of that. Don't do distance relationship for a long time. Naturally, they even tell you not to be in a relationship for a very long time. But you see, distance, I don't know if I've seen people that have been in distance relationship for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. But don't be in a distance relationship for a very long time. You will get tired. You will get frustrated. You will struggle to keep that relationship. So as much as possible, please, you should try as much as possible to break the distance, either through marriage or staying in the same location. If you're not married, please don't stay together. Or I'm not saying that. So, but try as much as possible to break that distance, either staying in the same city or getting married if that's going to help. But the bottom line, don't stay in a distance relationship for a very long time. So thank you very much for listening today. I hope that you're blessed. I hope that you've learned 1 or 2 things. I hope that this is worth sharing to friends and family to help them navigate their distance relationship. And I hope to see you next time. I hope you listen next time. And remain blessed. God loves you. And remember, as much as you love your partner, God is our first love. Bye.